but help yourself. Let your attorneys help you. Let your attorneys be there to help you and guide you and put you in a space where you can be successful. It's hard. I couldn't even imagine being a victim of family violence and enduring these things.
And you've got to report it. And I know that you might still love this other person, but one incident of domestic violence is too many, and you need to report it. Period.
Welcome back, guys, to Cases and Cocktails. This is episode 44. I'm Bryan Eggleston. My beautiful wife, Janice. How are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. You look beautiful as always.
Thank you.
October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yes.
We'll talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah, we're going to kick it off today.
Good deal. Let's get into that. Let's do the drink. You want to? What drink do we have today?
It's a vodka spritzer.
Vodka Spritzer,
orange.
Ketel One vodka?
Yep, with orange and peach.
Orange and peach. All right, that's a deal. Here we go. Try that. All right. That's not too bad.
It's refreshing.
It is refreshing. Domestic Violence Awareness Month, something that we deal with a lot.
Yep.
It's a difficult subject to talk about, but I think it's important. I think it's important to talk about not just domestic violence and being aware that this occurs, that sort of stuff, but I really want to talk about some of the things that we see our clients do or our clients not do.
Just common mistakes that we see in cases that involve domestic violence.
Yeah.
And for me, at least, the things that I see most commonly are things at the onset of the case that really impact being able to get litigation off the ground.
Yeah. And it's hard. I mean, and I don't want to minimize it. And when we say people make mistakes, there's not a perfect way to deal with domestic violence. It doesn't happen in a vacuum.
No. And there's feelings and emotions, and statistics show that a person is in a domestic violence situation with their spouse or significant other at least 20 times before they ever tell anyone that it's happened. Yeah. So by the time they're reaching out to an attorney, a stranger that they don't know, and they're asking for help, there's no telling how much they've gone through. And what they tell us on that first phone call is minuscule compared to what has actually happened over the course of this relationship.
Right. There's a lot of dynamics, interpersonal dynamics that go into this. There's a lot of nuances, a lot of perspectives that, it's easy for people, including me and you, to sit here and say, do this, don't do that, that sort of stuff. We're not there. And until you've been there, you don't know how you're going to react.
Right.
And each situation is different.
And so we don't mean to place blame, and we definitely don't mean to victim blame by any means.
Right, by any means.
What we're doing here is trying to make people aware that this is something that happens and try to give them some insight so that if they are looking for help and if they are considering filing a case, they understand some of the pitfalls of timing and filing and all the people that are involved, so that maybe they have a better understanding. If and when they're ready to come forward and do something, they can have more knowledge before they go do it.
No, I think and that's 100% it. I want people to understand that we are here to help, and as attorneys, we're here to help them navigate this. I think the best way to start is this: if you ever, and I tell clients this all the time, I know you do as well. It's pretty much a common theme, but if a client feels like they're in danger, their safety welfare is in danger, the safety welfare of their children are in danger, you got to call the police. You got to call law enforcement. Don't call an attorney. Don't call your friends. Call the police. That's who's there.
Emergency services. Right. Call 911.
Right. Yeah, that's who's there to help you in that situation.
The litigation stuff can come after. The first thing you need to do is make sure that you're ensuring your safety and the safety of your kids.
Right. Yeah,
whether you're the man or the woman,
right? It doesn't
suffering domestic violence.
It doesn't matter your gender. It just matters that you're getting help, and the first line of defense really is the law enforcement. And law enforcement can step in. There are situations where law enforcement can advocate for you to get a protective order, emergency protective order, bond conditions to keep people away.
If there's an arrest and the other person bonds out, there's everything from ankle GPS monitors to stay away provisions to emergency protective orders. Absolutely. And those stay in place a lot longer than the ones we can go get, because if they're part of bond conditions, then they're part of bond conditions and they'll stay in effect until the case is resolved.
Yeah. And the once law enforcement's there, and law enforcement, they have the ability to step in and hopefully de-escalate the situation and make sure everyone's safe. And so, first step, always call law enforcement. The next step, you really have to, you got to be prepared to do what you're about to do, and it's silly to say that because you don't plan on being a victim of domestic violence. You don't know it's going to happen, and so that's hard. But you really have to start immediately planning a path, a solution to get moving forward, because quite frankly, once the police are done and that sort of stuff, you're going to need help. You're going to need help from in a lot of spaces, from the attorneys, from your friends, your family, colleagues. You're going to need help. And you need to know what it is that you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go. So that way, all that effort and all that work and the help that you're getting from people can be used to help you move forward.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I noticed at the onset of litigation is just based on misinformation. So again, not trying to victim blame and saying the victim is making mistakes during this very emotional, tumultuous process, but it's lack of understanding of the process. We have I've had people call and do consults and think that we can go get a restraining order. They have a consult in the morning. They think by 5 p.m. we'll have this wrapped up in a nice bow. There will be a temporary restraining order in effect. Can that happen? Sure, it can happen, but we only have control over this much of it. Yeah. They hire us. If we're going to apply for a restraining order, we have to put together an application for that, an order for that, and an affidavit. And that affidavit is based on information that the client is going to provide to us. We then have to clean it up. That affidavit has to get notarized. From there, it gets filed. It goes to the clerk's office. And there are plenty of clerks and counties that we can work well with and get on the phone and say, hey, this is an emergency one. I need you to push it through. But technically, it can take a day or two for that to even get filed.
Yep.
From there, it's filed. Now the attorney gets it back, and the attorney then has to figure out whatever the process is in that county. For the most part now, it's electronic. It goes to the judge. The judge sometimes wants to hear from you about it and will say, I need you to hop on a Zoom in a few hours.
Right.
Let's talk about this. Then if the judge signs it, you got to coordinate a date. The judge writes that down. It has to get to the coordinator's office. That date gets set. Then the documents go back to the clerk's office to be filed. That order, the temporary restraining order, has to be filed. Right. After it gets filed, we have to do citation. Now we're talking about process servers, and that person has to be served. This process can easily get out of hand and take a week. Yep. And we can't protect you if you don't give us the runway to do it. And if you call me and tell me you've got a concern that you or the kids are going to be harmed that evening, get out. Yep. Take care of you, take care of the littles, make sure that you're protecting yourselves and get out of the situation. Yep. And what I come across with people that want to wait until it's worst is oftentimes male clients. Yeah. They don't want to be the ones filing this stuff. They don't want to file something that's going to be in public record that say that their wife hurt them.
Yeah. And it's problematic, and it's not something that, like I said, that's black and white.
No, not by any means. But
you have to have an understanding though of how people can help you. And that's sort of what I was talking about, having a plan. And if your plan is, first of all, there's no plan. Right. There's no plan. Right. And domestic violence occurs and you're the victim of it. You didn't plan for it. You couldn't sit down and get an appointment with an attorney. I get all that. Those are situations, though, where someone has to say, I've got to call the cops.
Right.
Or,
So
I've
you
gotta
get
call- I've got-
yourself
right.
and the kids safe first,
Right.
then go get as much
Right.
information as you can and come up with a plan.
Right. And then from there, you just need to know that, as you said, it's just, it's not a simple concept of, we file a piece of paper and judge signs it and there, ta-da, it's done. There's a little bit of runway to go through it. I know that, for us, we try to help people. We try to help people immediately start, writing down the events that happen so they can capture them so we get in the affidavit. I know that we help people, oftentimes we will sit and talk to people and we'll take the notes for them so they can get that story out.
And you got to think logistically too. You're talking about a victim of domestic violence now having to sit down
Right.
and relive at least everything that's happened in the last few weeks,
Right.
potentially months.
Yep.
And that is traumatizing as hell.
Yeah.
So after you get yourself and the kids to safety and you get a plan with an attorney, you need to get a plan to get your mental health
Right.
help as well.
Right.
Therapist, counselor, whatever that is for you, to make sure that you're getting help, because it's extremely traumatizing to go through all of that.
Yeah. And we're in a situation too where, when someone comes to us, and really this is for anyone that goes to an attorney, your attorney should be there to help you and help you understand that exactly what the attorney needs from you, and then try to put you in those positions where you can be successful to give us that stuff so we can then be successful in turning out the product that we need to, the documents that we need to, so we can get the relief that you're seeking, so we can help you and get you the protection that you need. I see people wait. A lot of times what happens, I see a lot of, and this is part of the cycle of abuse, is, you've got a situation where someone wants to file and do something. We ramp it up, we do it. Then there's a reconciliation period and they want to give them another chance. And there's a whole multitude of reasons why. And I'm not saying anyone's wrong. I'm just saying that I see this often, where they do the reconciliation and then we're back here and then a couple months go by and then it happens again and we do the thing. And it's difficult. And I'm not saying that, again, there's a wrong way or a right way, but I'm saying that, if it's occurred and you're talking to an attorney and you're doing the things, you're moving in the direction, and you need to continue to move in those directions to protect yourself. It's, everyone's got a plan, right? Mike Tyson says it best, right? Everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And make no mistake about it, I know exactly what I just did. I referenced someone that's accused of committing family violence. And I do it on purpose because I want it to be a juxtaposition of that there is no wrong or right here. There is not. You're not going to say, you sit down and say, here's my plan, and it's going to be perfect. I get that. I do. But help yourself. Let your attorneys help you. Let your attorneys be there to help you and guide you and put you in a space where you can be successful. It's hard. I couldn't even imagine being a victim of family violence and enduring these things.
And you've got to report it. And I know that you might still love this other person, but one incident of domestic violence is too many, and you need to report it.
Yep.
Period.
And I'll be very frank with everybody. Is that's what happens. It happened. You tell me you tell us, the attorneys, that it happened. We go tell the court it happened. And the other side says, well, did you call the cops?
And there are some judges that are very well versed in family violence, and they will be the first ones to jump up and scream and say, no, you are not asking that. Don't ask if they called the cops. Don't ask if they went to the they went to the hospital, if they went to a shelter. Don't ask if they made an outcry to anyone, because those judges know that there are at least 20 other times that likely happened before they ever go tell anyone. Right. But not all of the judges are as well versed. Yeah. And if you end up in front of one of those judges, the judge might hear that and think, well, if it really happened, wouldn't they have told someone? Right. Wouldn't they have reported? And, when we've got kids involved, it is another layer of issues, right? So even if the children have never been the victims of it, and you wait and you don't report it and you don't file and you don't do anything to protect yourself and protect the kids, here's how I've seen this situation unfold, unfortunately, is something then does happen to the kids. And then a mandatory reporter, a police officer, or a cop or a lawyer has to call CPS. CPS gets involved. There's, the parent that obviously is committing the acts of violence, but now we've got this other parent who's not going to be considered a protective parent. Right. And CPS and the courts are going to look at that other parent and say, why didn't you protect your kids? Right. And now all of a sudden you're to blame for being a victim of domestic violence. And that's a very hard spot to be in. And it's a hard spot to get out of in litigation.
Yeah, it is. And again, it's about, you're going to have to report it. And reporting it just by itself doesn't mean it ends. Like, you've got to take another step, right? So, first step is to report it. And then from there, you're going to have to take more steps in order to ensure that it doesn't happen in the future, and to safeguard yourself. It's difficult. I think one of the things, people wait way too late. I think people think that oftentimes that it's a very quick fix on our end that we can provide for them, or the courts can provide for them. And I don't think that's a true statement either.
And not only that it's a quick fix, but that the TRO is kind of the end of it.
Right.
A temporary restraining order is only good for 14 days. So what we're doing is we're giving you this temporary Band-Aid relief. Then we're ramping up and we have to get ready for intense litigation. Yep. We've got to prepare for a full-blown temporary orders hearing in 2 weeks, when usually we get twice or 3 times that amount of time. So we're really ramping up all of the work that you're going to have to do as the victim. And again, reliving all of that stuff over and over and over again. And then you're going to go into a courtroom and relive it in front of whoever's sitting in the galley and a judge.
Yeah. I'll say this, TRO, temporary restraining order, is exactly that. It's 14 days, temporary restraining order. That's what it is. You can get a ex parte or temporary protective order. Again, it's temporary, and will provide you some protections. But then from there, you're still going to have a full-blown hearing on the final protective order. Mm-hmm. And so you've got a situation where there are temporary fixes, but as you said, it's not. It's just
they're temporary.
It's temporary. It's just a step, and then you got to go do more. And I think it's important to understand too. While all of this is going on and everything, and the victims didn't ask for this. They didn't sign up to be victims of family violence, and so now you're shuffling your entire world. At the same time, we're also trying to navigate litigation, active litigation. It's extremely difficult, and so I go back to what I said. It's why you don't just need lawyers. You don't need cops and lawyers. You also need friends and family, your church, your support system, whatever that is, mental health providers, all of that, and navigating this, because it's not something that's easily done, and it's a difficult process. And we're going to spend the whole month talking about it, talking about domestic violence and those things, talking about ways to help yourself throughout these cases, talking about ways to red flags and in regards to signs of domestic violence, and hopefully shed some light on this for everybody else.
Hopefully we'll be able to provide some resources too.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of resources out there. I think there's a lot of opportunities. I think regardless of the amount of resources and the amount of help that's out there, it's very difficult. It's a very, very difficult situation to be in, and I think that hopefully this month we can shed some awareness of it, and those people that need the help can hopefully reach out and get it.
Yes, and just know that if you have a call with an attorney, that call is privileged. That call is just between you and the attorney. Obviously, you need to recognize too, though, if you are giving the attorney information about something that they are required to report to CPS, that's something that could happen as well. Yeah. If you're calling your attorney and telling them that you are worried that something's going to happen to your kids, and we've got certain parameters that we have to follow, but we're mandatory reporters too.
Yeah. And it's,
so we might advise you to call CPS on your spouse,
right.
and we might follow up with you and make sure that you did it, because we don't want to have the call or see something on the news and find out that something awful has happened either.
It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be a month. It's a heavy topic. it's a heavy topic. It's not fun and games and, cracking up. It's a heavy topic. We'll make it through. Do that for the month of October.
Yes.
Good with that?
Absolutely.
Good. All right. Look forward to y'all hanging out with us for the month of October, Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We're going to have more topics. We'll have some guests on this and hopefully help everybody navigate that. If you need help in any way, shape, or form, or you think you're a victim of family violence, please contact your local law enforcement. If you believe your safety and welfare is in danger, call 911. Guys, thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you next week.
Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you next Friday.